And we can just find that comfortable seated position using a prop perhaps under the pelvis, maybe even a block or a sweatshirt or whatever might be nearby under a knee or two, depending upon how things feel for you and your ankles and your hips and your knees. And we can bring our palms together at our heart space and just rest our chin towards our chest, and we'll begin our practice to taking a few deep breaths together, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And with your next inhale, let's interlace our fingers. Welcome, Jen. We're going to press our palms straight forward and all the way up, opening up the armpits, letting the shoulders just move however they need to move, stretching through the spine, stretching through the arms, and inviting the leg bones to drop, just relaxing the weight of the leg bones towards the earth. Taking just a couple more breaths here, stretching through the arms and feeling a sense of space between the rib cage and the pelvis, lifting the heart. And we're going to just flow gently now. The right fingertips falling to the floor as we exhale, opening up the left side body, and then inhaling, pushing off the right hand. Take a little ride up and over and land your left fingertips towards the earth as we stretch the right side of the body open. Inhaling as we lift, exhaling as we reach. Moving nice and slow, gentle movement, filling the movement with your breath. Next breath, let's take both arms overhead once again. Interlace the fingers. Take the hands down towards the space of the occipital ridge, that rounded space at the back of the skull. Let your thumbs rest at the bottom of that little ridge and relax the shoulders away from the ears. Pause here for a moment and just let those shoulders drop. Now, inhale to open the elbows to whatever degree feels safe and comfortable for you. Exhale to curl the elbows together, drawing chin towards chest, and gently opening and stretching the upper spine. Inhaling to open wide, exhaling to curl in. Moving at your own breath's pace. Once again, filling the movement with your breath. When it feels natural to you, land in a rounded position, exhaling here, and then continuing to breathe into the back of the neck and the space of the upper spine. Breathing into the back of the lungs. Releasing the arms to your legs. Just rest the elbows and the wrists to gravity. Relax the palms and the fingers and start to roll the head subtly from side to side. Maybe it's a very subtle movement at first. Eventually, you might feel comfortable completing a little bit more of a pendulum motion as we roll ear to shoulder on an in-breath, chin to chest on an out-breath. Consider the possibility of exploring the back space with your head, if that feels comfortable for you. Rolling the head gently through the back space. Maybe it feels better to just keep it to the front. Allow for whatever feels natural and right to you. Listening to your body wisdom. Relax the shoulders and allow them to respond to the weight of the skull. Breathing deeply. You may find your shoulders rounding or dropping with the weight of the skull. Allow for that little extra bit of access to the neck and the upper spine. When it feels right to you, release the chin towards the chest and invite the hands to interlace behind the back now. Stretching perhaps the index fingers towards the earth, taking Kali Mudra. Shoulder blades melting toward one another behind the heart. The chin might be happily resting towards the chest, or maybe that feels too intense and you'd rather lift the crown of the head to a more neutral position for the neck. Honoring your body wisdom. Breathing deeply and listening to the messages from within. Inhaling, sweeping the arms out and up, stretching tall. Exhaling, we're going to bend the elbows and rest the hands in a prayer position behind the head. The elbows stay lifted. So we're trying to hug our ears with our upper arm bones, gently resting the hands behind the head, just letting them fall to gravity, and relaxing the shoulders as best you can. Breathing deeply here, elbows high, chin drops gently inwards so that the back of the neck feels neutral. Just a couple more breaths here, opening the lungs, opening the armpits, opening the back of the upper arms, the tricep muscles. It might feel good to transition and grab a hold of opposite elbows overhead. Maybe even one hand pulls an elbow at a time. Invite any variations or gentle different access to your shoulders that come naturally for you here. And when it feels complete, we're going to extend the arms and then wrap the right elbow under the left. Eagle arms here. So the hands might be any position that they naturally find themselves in. The important piece is that the elbows are squeezing together. We're hooking them together and creating a sense of action in the elbows. This translates to a stretch in the shoulders. Elbows at shoulder height, hands away from the face, however you find them. Maybe you're able to take a grip. Make a connection. Taking a couple more breaths here. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Squeeze the elbows. Breathing ever more deeply. Resting the right elbow towards your body. Take the left hand or arm into the right hand. So right elbow resting against the body, left arm stretching across, and the right hand gripping the left arm however it makes sense to you. Maybe it's closer to your hand, maybe it's closer to your elbow, whatever feels natural for you. Invite your chin to rotate towards the left shoulder and direct your breath into the left shoulder and the left lung. Let's take it to the other side. Guide the left elbow towards your body. Extend the right arm and rest it in your left hand. Turning your chin slowly towards the right shoulder and focusing the breath into the right lung. The right arm resting heavily in the left hand, the left elbow resting against the body for support, finding the least amount of muscular tension necessary as you breathe into the right shoulder. Deep oceanic breathing, releasing so that you can simply capture the right elbow with your left. Back to eagle arms, left elbow under right. We're squeezing the elbows, we're relaxing the shoulders. Let's invite a subtle twist at the waistline. Rotating at the waistline from side to side, breath to breath. Squeezing elbows, shoulders dropping. Relax the face. Just a few more breaths here. When it feels right to you, coming to center. Let's squeeze those elbows for just another breath and then release the arms, resting elbows and wrists heavily on your legs. Just dropping the shoulders. Relax the shoulders a little bit more with each breath. Allow them to continue to melt away from the earlobes. Heavy arms. Perhaps you're ready to get up onto hands and knees. Maybe you'd rather stay seated. We'll shift into some cat-cows. So listen to your body wisdom and begin to rock and roll from crown to tail. Beautiful. Continue to explore articulation from crown to tail. Honor your wrists. If you're feeling sensitive in the wrists, the first thing to do is to bring your hands a little further forward in space so that there's less flexion in the wrist. The other thing to do would be to come up onto fingertips or even to make fists and be on your knuckles instead. You also could even be on your forearms and taking this cat-cow. Just a few more breaths. Let's pay even closer attention now to our fingers and our feet. On the in-breath, tuck your toes under and let your pelvis pull back so that you're getting a stretch in your feet. On the out-breath, bring a little more action to your fingers and separate the shoulder blades, dropping the crown and the tail, opening the back of the heart. Moving with the breath, articulating hands and feet. When it feels right to you, let's take a few breaths, stretching it out in a downward facing dog. If you prefer to stay out of this position, you can keep your knees on the mat and slide your hands further forward in puppy pose. Taking a few breaths here to stretch it out exactly as it feels right to you in your body in this moment. Breathing deeply here. On an exhale, think about hollowing the belly, pulling the belly button in and up, and clearing the lungs. Releasing the knees to the mat now. Let's walk our hands across the front of the thighs until we come up onto our knees, placing the hands in our back pockets and directing the shoulders down and away from the ears, the elbows gently back, the hips subtly forward perhaps, the tailbone dropping towards the knees, the heart space lifting towards the chin. So we're keeping the neck neutral, the gaze is forward, and we're floating the sternum upward. Breathing deeply here, pelvis relaxed, shoulders relaxed. You might choose, if you happen to have blocks, to place them on either side of your legs, fingertips resting on the blocks as a point of leverage from which to lift. You also have an option to place your hands just behind the legs, which alleviates some strain in the shoulders. Just another couple of breaths here. Consider changing your position, finding just a little different variety. Be creative, curious. And when it feels complete for you, releasing slowly back to all fours. Taking a couple cat-cows. Releasing the spine gently. Coming to a neutral spine. Let's take the right arm open with a big breath in. looking towards the right. And then exhale, release the hand to the mat. Inhaling, left arm reaching open, lifting up and out of the right shoulder, looking to the left. Exhaling, releasing. Now we're going to stretch the right leg out to the side, sole of the foot flat. So the right foot extends out to the side of the body in a gate position. And we're keeping the left hand on the mat under the left shoulder. So the left hand, the left knee, and the right foot are making an L shape or a right angle. Now the right arm is going to rotate up towards the ceiling, allowing the right hip to roll up. So we're stacking the shoulders, we're even stacking the hips, and then we're dropping the weight of the right leg from the hip socket. Release the weight of the right leg heavily to the earth. Allow for a sense of drop. Heavy right leg, heavy right foot. Check in with the left shoulder now. Lift up and out of it. This might be a place where you come up onto your left fingertips to avoid strain in the wrist. And we might make circles with that right arm or drop the arm behind the back like a wet towel. Any variations, creative movement that comes naturally for you here. Check in with the neck. Maybe it feels good to just drop the weight of the skull to gravity for a couple breaths. Breathing and observing as we fill the right side body with our breath. So now we're going to take the right hand back to the mat, but we're going to keep the hand just slightly off to the right. Fingertips of the right hand just slightly off to the right. Let the right hip relax, the sole of the right foot heavy, and open the left arm to the side. So I know this is super awkward. We're going to relax the right hip and see if we can lift up out of the right shoulder. Make effort to lift up out of the right shoulder. Lift the heart. That's it. Take another couple breaths here until you're ready to release the right knee underneath, keeping the left arm high, rooting down through the left knee. The right knee drops in. Now we can take another big breath in and exhale, diving a little deeper, taking the left ear towards the earth, the left shoulder towards the earth. We might choose to use a block, pillow, or other prop under the head. And as you place your head and shoulder towards the earth, I'll invite you to notice whether you're leaving enough space for your spine to be elongated and safely twisting. Sometimes as we thread the needle, we crowd our knees with our shoulder. So just take a moment, assess your own alignment, and then melt a little bit more in the space between the shoulder blades. Let that left ear drop a little bit more heavily towards the earth and invite even more neutrality and softness in the hips, in the groins, in the low back. Breathing deeply here. When it feels complete for you, take your time to press back into the right hand and open the left arm to the sky, exploring just that counter stretch, rolling open, spacious right shoulder, grounded left knee, and then returning to all fours. Again, let's take a moment, a few cat-cows. Maybe you're going to feel the urge to press into your downward facing dog, or even you may feel the urge to rest in a child pose for a couple breaths. Please honor your body wisdom. Taking some time here, breathing and being perfectly present with the messages from within. Whenever it feels right to you, we can begin by extending the left leg out to the side and preparing for our twisted gait. Eventually opening the left arm to the sky, the head might fall to gravity, the left arm might circle around or drop behind the back like a wet towel. Whatever variation of this twisted gait feels most satisfying to you. Lifting up and out of the right shoulder, heavy left leg, letting go in the left hip. When it feels complete for you, releasing the left hand to the mat, again, just slightly off to the left. The left hip releases, the sole of the left foot might adjust slightly away, and opening the right arm to the side when you're ready. Relaxing the left hip, heavy left leg, spacious left shoulder, twisting gently open towards the right. See about lifting the heart up and away from the left shoulder. Once again, when it feels complete for you, that left knee drops in and we reach up a little higher with the right arm, we dig a little deeper with the right knee, and we exhale to dive down, drawing the right ear and the right shoulder towards the earth, bringing in support as needed, directing the tailbone to a neutral position, relaxing the groins, relaxing the low back, rolling the left shoulder over the right shoulder. Once again, noticing the position and the placement of that right shoulder, avoiding restriction, avoiding any kind of compression in the spine here as we invite that left shoulder over the right shoulder. Breathing deeply here. Once again, when it feels complete for you, take your time and transition slowly. The left hand finding the mat, we ultimately unwind, opening the right arm to the sky again, stretching and releasing. Once again, I'll invite a little cat-cow action. And on an exhale, we'll round up through the spine, coming to camel once again, taking any variation of the pose that makes sense to you in your body. Maybe you like the idea of even tucking your toes, placing fingers of one hand at an ankle and the other hand reaching to the sky. So you can alternate here with your arms if you like. It might feel grounding to tuck those toes, take a little bit more stretch in the feet, give it a little more access to the ankles, a little more height for the heart. Take your time here. Allow it to feel even more expansive. once again, we'll transition to our downward facing dog. Let's stretch it out and walk our feet towards our hands. We'll land in a standing forward fold. Taking time as you articulate through the ankles, slowly walking towards your hands. Bending the knees, let the belly rest to the thighs, activate the big toes, interlace the hands behind the back here, and consider taking the arms up towards the ceiling. You might even take Kali Mudra, the index fingers extended towards the ceiling. If you're comfortable exploring opening up the backs of the legs, keep pressing into the big toes, lifting the belly button towards the spine with each exhale, and allowing for the legs to extend to whatever degree feels safe to you. Big toes pressing, head falling, shoulders rinsing. Release the arms, let them dangle. Keep the knees soft. Activate the big toes and start to roll up through the spine. Big toes pressing, knees are bent, arms and head are heavy. We're rounding up until we come to stand, slowly and carefully. And on the exhale, we're rounding back down. Simple movement here, just a little jelly roll, rolling up on the in-breath, rolling down on the out-breath. And just allow for a couple more breaths here, enjoying the articulation of your spine, celebrating the flexibility of your spine. With your next inhale, invite the arms to extend out and up. As you come to stand, we'll explore Utthita Tadasana, arms reaching tall overhead. Extending upward, long legs, heels dropping, tailbone dropping, shoulders relaxed, face relaxed. Take another big breath in and exhale, swan diving forward. Soften the knees, lead with the heart, and give your legs a hug. Inhaling, press away from the legs, lengthen to a flat back position. Pull the shoulders away from the ears even more strongly. Draw the heart even further forward. That's it, I see that. Exhale, release it down. Nice work, everybody. Inhale, again, flat back position. Pull the shoulders back. Draw the heart forward. Exhale, releasing, full surrender. One more time. Inhale, press away. Long spine. Exhale, full surrender, head heavy. Inhaling, rolling up, dangling those heavy arms, rounding through the spine, activating in the feet. Eventually the arms come overhead. And we're going to take a hold of the left wrist and stretch over towards the right now in a standing crescent. Push into the left foot and open up that left lung. Think about lifting the heart. Avoid any sense of collapse here. Spine lifting, feet pressing, heart open. Relax the shoulders. Maybe the right arm just wants to hang at your side like a wet noodle. One more big breath here. On an in breath, take it all the way up and over. Pause at center and then take it to the other side. Exhaling and shifting our attention to the right side of the body. Right foot active, soften the hips, open right lung, open heart. Maybe that right arm enjoys that little tractioning out that the left hand can give it. Maybe the left arm wants to just drop instead. Inhaling, both arms overhead, stretching tall. Exhaling, swan diving forward once again. Lead with the heart and give those legs a hug. Take a breath or two here into the back side of the body. So I'm going to invite you to place your hands on the mat here. Step your left foot back into a low lunge. Release the left knee to the mat. Take a moment to invite the right foot further forward or the left knee further back and just allow the pelvis to drop. We would like to keep the right knee on top of the right ankle here. Right knee on top of the right ankle to keep that right knee happy, safe. Just a couple more breaths here in this low lunge, gently opening the front of that left hip. If you prefer, you can take a little twist here, open it up, move the arms around, just let your body wisdom guide you. Whatever comes naturally for you here in this low lunge. Breathing deeply, relaxing the pelvis. Tucking the back toe under. Lift the back knee. Low lunge with the knee lifted. Take another breath here. Push off of the back foot. If you're feeling adventuresome, you can float the left leg up before you place it next to the right foot. You might explore a moment of a standing split before you release the left foot to the floor. Inhale when you're ready to find a flat back. Exhale, releasing back down, hands to the mat. The right foot reaches back now, right knee to the mat. Let's find the front of the right hip for a few breaths. Taking your time, moving into it at your own pace, honoring that front knee. Aligning the knee over the ankle, active in the front foot. Maybe you're tucking the back toe under. Maybe you're pressing into the top of the back foot to alleviate pressure in the right knee. See if you can find some space around the shoulders and the heart and the neck, keeping as much neutrality as possible here. Breathing deeply and relaxing the pelvis, letting the pelvis fall to gravity. Moving any way you like, another breath or two. Feel free to explore variations. Moving in the arms or twisting if you like. And then tucking the back toe under, establishing our lunge, our hands framing the front foot. We're active in our core. We're going to push off the back foot and step forward, possibly floating the front, that right leg up first if you desire. And when we're on 2 feet, we'll go ahead now and separate the feet open. We're going to lower the pelvis, grab a pillow or a block or two, and take a seat in a prayer squat. If you happen to have a block, that's great. It also could serve you to work with even just sitting in a chair or the corner of a couch or ottoman if being this low doesn't make sense for you. And lifting from the heart. So it's sort of one of these poses where it's like tapping your head with one hand and rubbing your belly with the other. We want to be relaxed from the waist down and lifted and spacious from the waist up. Consider closing your eyes for just a couple more breaths. Rest your gaze at your third eye. Soften your jaw, soften your forehead, soften your scalp. We're going to make our way now onto the mat. So please be compassionate with yourself and take a careful transition. However your body wisdom tells you, we're going to shift to sit. So coming off of your prop, we'll take a seat, extend the legs forward. We might choose to remain slightly elevated with a pillow or a blanket under the pelvis. We'll take our forward fold now, stretching in Paschimottanasana. Belly button pulling towards the back of the heart with each exhale. You might enjoy flowing, inhaling as you extend upward and exhaling as you extend forward. You might prefer just holding that forward fold. Whatever makes sense to you. Just a few more breaths here. Eventually, we're going to roll up through the spine and roll down onto our back. So take a moment, check out what's behind you, make adjustments, and see if you can take your time to articulate the spine and engage the core by placing hands behind the knees, soles of the feet flat, and rolling down with control. Let's gather our knees in towards our chest. Take a moment here, a gentle rock from side to side. Release the left leg long and heavy, and take a moment to just relax the pelvis, relax the shoulders, a passive version of Apanasana, just surrendering to gravity. Go ahead and capture the right ankle with the left knee for a few breaths, ankle to knee. Pull that left knee in and reach the right knee away from the body, just opening the right hip gently to whatever degree feels exactly right to you. Finding an external rotation of the right leg so we can capture right ankle with left knee for a few breaths. And ultimately switch to a twist. So as your body feels ready, crossing right knee over left, the pelvis moves to the right and the hips easily stack right over left as we drop the knees to the left and support the right elbow, resting for a few breaths in this supine twist, stacking right hip over left hip. Beautiful. Take 3 more giant breaths here. Exhale through the mouth. On that third exhale, curl the knees slowly back into the chest. Pull it all in. We'll hold the left knee and release the right knee long, dropping into that passive version of Apanasana for a breath or two, just letting the bones drop. Heavy right leg. And if you like, capturing the left ankle with the right knee now, opening the left hip, external rotation for a few breaths. And ultimately crossing the left knee over the right knee, shifting the pelvis to the left, dropping the knees to the right, stabilizing the left knee, the left elbow, and falling into the breath. Observing the breath across the left side of the body. Once again, an exhale through the mouth can draw you slowly back, pulling knees to chest. Here, I'll invite you to just simply assess what makes most sense for you as we complete our practice. You might like the idea of placing your legs up onto a chair, a couch, an ottoman, a bed, even up a wall, so that you can enjoy a little restorative inversion during Shavasana. Placing the bones exactly as you'd like to rest in the spaciousness that you've cultivated through your practice today. Breathing deeply and falling into Shavasana, a space of integration, harmonization, and healing. Resting in this space of pure potential.